all hear about the cowboys in America. They're people that ride the ranges and bring in the cattle. But the cowboy in Australia is a different person altogether. He's the man that works at the homestead. He's employed by the mistress of the house, and he does the killing of the meat, milking of the cow, all the gardening, chopping all the wood for the stove, and he's pretty busy, I can tell you, by the time that the boss, his wife, comes out and gives him orders. He ends up scrubbing the back steps. So you see, he's a different man altogether to the man we think of as a cowboy. Man in Australia, what would represent him would be the station hand. A station hand or a stockman. He'd go out and see to the stock in the paddock and do all those sort of jobs, but not a cowboy. Now, I knew some cowboys, and there was 3 lots that I remember quite well. There was old Paddy Mellon. He lived over and he worked for the Munros, and he used to sneak over to my place about 4 in the morning and chop my wood for me, because we had wood stoves, and I'd give him breakfast. And then he'd get back in time for work on the property. He was a cowboy for the Munros for many years. Then we come to the cowboy Potty Woods. Now, Potty Woods, he was known as the Dancing Wolf, but I won't go into that. But his wife, and he come there, and she was the cook and he was the cowboy. Now, eventually, through different reasons, he became the manager of Cubby, and his wife was the manageress. And old Potty Woods, he was cowboy there for many years before he became manager. Now, then we come to another man, old Beardmore. Beardmore had this a fellow from bloke from
Roger,
and he used to be there. Now, he used to work for Mrs. Beardmore as a cowboy, and he worked for Mr. Beardmore as a station hand. But I said many a time the drovers would find him, see him through and saying, well, at midnight I stop working for Mr. Beardmore, I will resume and just work for the Mrs. Beardmore as the cowboy. And he was there for many, many years. He died there. So you see, cowboys are not famous people. They work hard around the station and they do the cleaning and they live. I went to work out at Leander at Longreach, and there was a cowboy there, a boy called Hunt, and Colin Hunt, and he was a cowboy, and he'd come out of an orphanage, and he'd do all that work, and he was always busy killing meat and chopping wood and doing all those sort of work, and he was very handy to me because he'd go and bring the washing in off the line, and he'd stoke up the copper, and he'd do all those odd jobs about the place. So I suppose I was the mistress, because there was no wife out there. Mr. Moffat lived on his own out there at the time. So you see, I wanted to get that straight about that cowboy business. It's not a cowboy in Australia when you roam the hills and valleys and do these things they do in America. Stop. Yeah, finish that one.